December 1996. It's the end of the year. Still working at Illyria Arts. Still don't remember anything else. I promise in 1997 there are things I'm going to remember. Still have weird lighting. I did not fix my overhead light, and I did not put a flashlight up this time. So all we have is this light up here. So I guess we're all going to have to deal with it. I read, looks like 6 books in December of 1996, and we're going to jump right in with the first book, which was Star Wars X-Wing Wedge's Gamble by Michael A. Stackpole. Now, you know what? Somehow that seems incorrect, so I'm going to do some checking. Hopefully you're still seeing me as I do this. I'm looking on Amazon right now, and because I had to look it up, I'm going backwards. Nope, it is Gamble. I thought maybe it was Gambit, but it is Gamble. Just wanted to double check. So Star Wars X-Wing Wedge's Gamble, Michael A. Stackpole. This is the second book in the X-Wing / Rogue Squadron series. And Wedge and his X-Wing pilots, the Rogue Squadron, the covert operators, are going to the heart of the Empire, the failing Empire. They're going to Coruscant, the city planet. The whole planet is just one giant city, and they're infiltrating. They want information. They're going up against a character named, not sure how you pronounce it, Ysanne, Ysanne. Ysanne Isard is her last name, and she is, according to the description, the emperor, the new emperor in all but name. And she's already turned one of the X-Wing pilots. So there's a spy amongst Wedge's ranks. I like these books. I mentioned before when the first one of these came up that I like they don't feature the main characters. So anybody can die. You never know what's going to happen. Anybody could die. You know, for the most part, they're not going to kill Luke or Leia or Han. But their espionage, and I really dig X-Wings, so they're a lot of fun. Good books. If I were going to rebuild, even partially rebuild my Star Wars book collection, I have a few, but the X-Wing books would be at the top of my list. Next up, we have The Incredible Hulk, What Savage Beast by Peter David. In this one, the Hulk is the Professor Hulk persona, which was created by Peter David. So it's Bruce Banner's brain in the Hulk's body. And my favorite thing, which is when he gets angry, he turns into Banner's body, but with Savage Hulk brain. So you got this little 90-pound weakling type of character running around saying, Hulk smash. But in this book, he's Professor Hulk. He is married to Betty, Betty Ross, now Betty Banner, and she is pregnant. And so Bruce Banner's really, really, really trying to find a cure so he can just be a normal guy. But of course, things go awry. Peter David had probably my favorite run on The Incredible Hulk. He did some great, great stuff. I love the Professor Hulk character when he was writing it, and I like his novels. This is good stuff. Then we have, why did I put these books in this order? We have The Incredible Hulk, Cry of the Beast by this is Richard S. Myers. And number 3 in the old Marvel novels from the 70s. And in this one, there is this radiation expert in an African nation. He defects, but the dictator of that nation wants him back. Meanwhile, Bruce Banner is in New York, and he sees this scientist get kidnapped right in front of his eyes. And he needs to save him because this guy could cure the Hulk. And this takes place back when he was Banner. When he got angry, he would turn into the Hulk. Fun. These weren't all the best written books, but they were fun for a comic book fan. Then we have Spider-Man Global War by Martin Del Rio. This is the third book in the super thriller Spider-Man line, which were young adult books. And in this one, Dr. Octopus wants to launch some nuclear missiles at Latveria, which is the kingdom of Doctor Doom, thus starting a global war. Good title. And Spider-Man has to stop him. And again, for a young adult book, it's fun. Something fun to read. All right. The book that's probably going to be of the most interest to the horror fans in my audience, The Earth Strikes Back, edited by Richard T. Chizmar. Now, at the time that I read this, I had no idea who Richard T. Chizmar was. He's the guy that runs Cemetery Dance. He is the guy that wrote and co-wrote the Gwendy trilogy with Stephen King. The first one is co-written. Richard Chizmar, Stephen King, Gwendy's Button Box. The second one, which I do not remember the name of, he wrote himself. And then the third one is, it's got Richard Chizmar and Stephen King on the cover. I think the last one is Gwendy's Magic Feather. Not 100% sure. And he writes his own stuff, and he's written some stuff with his son. So it's a name that I know now. I'm very, very familiar with Richard Chizmar. I follow him on Twitter. He's always giving books away. If you like follow and retweet, your name is put in for these big giveaways. Cemetery Dance is putting out some great, great stuff. I'm currently reading a Bentley Little book that was put out by Cemetery Dance. But way back then, in 1996, he edited this book, The Earth Strikes Back, which is an anthology of ecological horror stories. It has authors like Richard Lehman. I have to look at my list here. The author formerly known as Poppy Z. Bright, Ed Gorman, Nancy Collins. There's 20 different authors, all ecological horror, and I think, 100% sure, pretty sure this has the story that I always remember, where nature somehow, it was almost a happening kind of thing. The M. Night Shyamalan movie, for those who might not know what I'm talking about, The Happening. Horrible, horrible movie that I could watch over and over. It's so bad. It's incredibly entertaining. But anyway, there's a story, I feel like it's even the first story in this book, where somehow nature, there's a virus or a pollen or something, I don't know. Again, it's been a long time since I read it, that causes people to start forgetting. And it's progressive. So at first it's simple things like, oh, I forgot where my car keys are. I forgot this, forgot that, little things. But then it becomes, I forgot your name. I forgot my name. And then it progresses to the point where essentially the brain forgets to breathe, or forgets to tell the body to breathe. So basically, everybody dies out because the forgetting progresses. Spoilers for 1 out of 20 stories. But I really, really dug it. Obviously, it stuck with me. And I'm pretty sure it's in this book. So there you go. I'd love to have a copy of this again. When I looked it up just to get some authors' names and stuff, the cover just immediately brought back the memories of it. And then finally, the last book that I read, one that I've read many times, has been in these videos many times, Early Autumn by Robert B. Parker, my favorite of the Spencer books. Spencer being a private detective in Boston, but this one really is not a mystery. This is the introduction of the character Paul Giacomin, and I think his mother brings him to Spencer, and there's a custody battle between Paul's parents, and his mother brings him to Spencer for protection because she thinks the dad is going to kidnap him, and Paul is just a piece of shit, spoiled, lazy, whiny little bastard. Spencer takes him out into the woods, and they're going to build a cabin together, and basically Spencer teaches him how to stand up for himself. And then the mother comes back and is like, apparently made a deal with the dad, and she's just going to give up the kid. And Spencer wants what's best for the kid. And so I think Spencer takes him, and then he basically investigates both parents, gets spoilers. So skip the next however, I don't know, 60 seconds or so if you want to read this yourself. But Spencer investigates the parents, gets blackmail material on both of them, and blackmails them into taking care of their freaking kid, which basically means sending him off to this dance school that he wants to go to, and his father's going to pay for it, and they're going to leave the kid alone and let him live life the way he wants to. Fantastic book. I absolutely love it. And that was the last book that I read in December of 1996. So there you go. 6 books, 3 of them based on comics, 1 based on another IP, Star Wars obviously, only 1 horror anthology, but really good stuff. And my question for this video will be, do you pay attention to publishers and or editors? I do. I've made videos on small press publishers. I know there's some of you do pay attention. I mean, there's so many great small press publishers like Unnerving and Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing / Ghoulish Books, who at the time that I'm recording and at the time this goes up, they have a Kickstarter for their 2023 line of books, and it should be good until the beginning of, or should be up until the beginning of February. I am going to back it as soon as I can, and basically get a subscription to all the Ghoulish books that are going to come out in 2023, plus a bunch of other goodies. But love Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing, and Death's Head Press was just bought out or taken over by somebody, I don't remember who. Disturbingly Dark, is that the name of the Candice Nola? Candice Nola is an author or a reviewer, and she also has been publishing anthologies, award-winning anthologies. So yeah, I definitely pay attention. And then Cemetery Dance, I definitely pay attention to publishers. Eraserhead and Deadites. So I pay attention to publishers. I get like all the Tor Nightfire, Aconite for my comic book and gaming novels. And as far as editors go, like back in the day, Martin H. Greenberg was a name that always came up. I've got tons of books that he edited. Right now, probably the big name in horror editing is Ellen Datlow. Hopefully I've said her name correctly. She edits the best horror of the year every year. There's actually 2 different ones. I'm not sure what the difference in title is, but she does a yearly thing. And then she also edits just tons and tons of anthologies. I believe she's an award winner. There's a book of stories inspired by Shirley Jackson, which I don't have at the moment. She did a book of body horror short stories. I do have that one. I'm looking right there at a Tor Nightfire anthology that I believe she edited. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I do pay attention to. So what about you? That was the question. Do you pay attention to publishers and or editors? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is EricSmith5757. That's Eric with a K. ERIKSMITH5757. That is all I have for you this week. So until next week, read more books. And I hit the wrong button